I'm Mark Baer. You're watching YourTown television. I'm with Hanif Panni, and DJ, artist, designer, and Little League baseball coach.
Yeah, I'm part-time.
And first of all, Dad. So,
Yes, indeed.
So welcome. I guess let's start with artist. And tell me a little about you and your background and how this all came about.
Well, I used to watch my mom paint a lot when I was younger, and then I decided that I liked painting with her. And when I was in high school, I liked to kind of go into the art room and barricade myself up in there and just work with whatever I could, and ended up going to school for it and having a lot of fun.
Where'd you end up going to school?
University of Oregon up in Eugene.
Oh, wow, great.
Yeah, good program up there. And I started doing promotions for music, and we would always need flyers, so I just started designing my own flyers, and that's kind of how I got into more graphic design elements and stuff like that.
So you're also DJ Wondir, and you make a living as a DJ.
Yes.
And let's talk about what goes into that. What makes a good DJ?
Well, there's a lot of different factors that go into the work that I do. I do a lot of different events, from kind of club-centric events to corporate parties, holiday parties and stuff like that, and weddings and stuff. So they all require a different skill set and a different approach. The club is kind of getting people moving a lot, and with weddings, there's a lot that goes into that. You have to make each event kind of structured and catered to an individual group. So different people like different things, obviously, and then there's getting people mingling, playing music that's not too intrusive, and for the beginning part, and then getting people moving afterwards. So,
and then the deep understanding of music and music history,
exactly,
and how A relates to B. And so how did you get the depth of knowledge?
Well, again, my parents were both musicians when I was growing up.
Do a lot, yeah.
Yeah, my dad and mom had this huge record collection, and so my brothers and I would always kind of steal their records when they were away, and just kind of listen to them on our own. And then we got into doing radio stuff at a very early age, just because we appreciated the hip hop culture and appreciated like how it was a bridge between funk and jazz into a new generation. And so we wanted to like share that with people, and that's kind of how I got into playing the music that I play. I like to kind of bridge old and new, and and keep the ancestors happy at the same time.
Mm-hmm. And how do you your skill set sharpen? Can you tell when you're getting better?
Yeah, well, it's years and years and years of failing. I'll say when I first started doing clubs, I was about 18, 19 years old, and I was doing radio at the time, so I thought I could bring that radio mentality into a club, and it just did not work. So it was like, imagine a stand-up comedian just crashing, right? And, having hecklers, what are you doing up there, right? Because I would just go in there and I'd play like jazz music at a club or something, and I'd be like, oh, they don't like this, no one's dancing, and everyone's looking at me weird. So I kind of had to change, compromise with myself and find out that there's a different environment there,
But the secret is you want to be appropriate but not compromising.
Yeah,
And
you want to, as soon as you get bored with what you're doing, that's when you know something needs to change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's like being a performer. Well, it's not like, it is being a performer.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to feel a crowd, but you also have to assert yourself so that the crowd's kind of got to be. You've got to be appropriate, but you also have to be a little hipper, that they have to kind of wade in with you.
Yeah.
But you can't be your own universe and take it or leave it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you can. When you kind of get in that zone, it's a lot of fun. But anybody can take two songs and blend them together.
Yeah.
Especially with technology being the way it is, it automatically does it for you half the time now.
Yeah.
But if you don't have kind of your own artistic expression within that, then it's kind of like a moot point.
Now, what's the relationship? So again, I guess we're talking about having a voice. And how does the voice that is in the art and in the design work work with the music? How does it all?
Oh, it's all the same thing.
It's all the same thing. And which voice came first?
I mean, it's, you know, I was very blessed to have parents that kind of nurtured all of those voices, you know, and really showed me, you gave me tools at a young age and let me kind of go off on my own with those things. And so I would say that to me, it's all it's all the same, you know, when, like I said, when I would do radio back in the day and I would play like Wu-Tang Clan and then I'd play some, you know, Herbie Mann right afterward or something. And I'd get people calling and just being like, I never thought those two things would go together, you know. But to me, they're the same thing, you know. And
so are you always surprising yourself with the connections?
Yeah. I mean, that's what's so fun about it, you know. And you know, and with design work and with artwork, it's the same thing, because you can start with just a bunch of scribbles, and then, you know, 5-6 hours into it, you're like, oh my God, what is going on here? And you know, it's a fun experience. And
so with the design work, who's your clientele? And again, they see your website, hanifwondir.com. You better say that once.
hanifwondir.com with the IR, yes.
Yeah, because we can't say that enough.
Right on.
But now they know how to find you. So what do you do with design, and who's your client for this?
So my clientele ranges from, again, kind of corporate. I do a lot of posters and album covers, CD covers, you know, the lost art of the album cover.
Yeah.
Especially with digital downloads, it's getting crazy. So I like to really, I like to do album covers, and I do a lot of tour posters for touring artists, for different clients up and down the West Coast, and just all across the country, really.
Where did you grow up?
Eugene, Oregon, and San Francisco, so a little bit of both.
Yeah. So let's kind of make a detour to, you're a Sand Cityite.
Just recently, yes.
And I just love it down there, and it's got a vibe, and it's got stuff going on.
Yeah.
And we're here to promote more stuff going on there. So what's that? It's like you're urban, but it's like you're urban in 3 blocks.
Yeah, it's great. You know, I actually live in Seaside, but right up the street from Sand City. Yeah. And so I recently am taking up shop in a studio in Sand City. I'm setting up a recording studio as well as art studio in this building, and I'm sharing it with a dear friend of mine, Dominique Ann. And what I've always liked about Sand City is, like, you can walk around at any time of day, and you just kind of peek into one of these random kind of garage looking things, and you're like, oh my God, there's a full on, you know, welding art studio in there that just has the most unique, interesting, you know, burl wood mixed with metal pieces, or painting studio or photography studio. And they're just, it's such a nonchalant exterior, but you go into it and it's just the most colorful place on the peninsula, you know?
Yeah. And how important is community to an artist, and that conversation and that butting up together?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, it's you know, a lot of art and music does happen when you're by yourself, of course, but to have like-minded individuals that are in a community that are kind of egging each other on, you know, it's kind of paramount. It really helps with the process, and it helps with people just kind of thumbs upping, like, hey, I like what you're doing. You like what I like what you're doing too, and it's good. It's very good.
I mean, I'm blown away what people are doing here, and we're in this little mini-tropolis, in this little small space in the middle of, you know, between big cities, and it's going on.
Yeah, it really is.
You know, and that's amazing to me.
Yeah, it really is, and I'm very proud of a lot of the artists and musicians here, and I couldn't even imagine that the community would exist like that, you know, when I first moved here. But, you know, it's amazing.
So you mentioned Dominique Ann. Let's talk about the fashion show a bit, because I know that you're doing the mix for that, and you did the mix last year.
Yeah, a couple years ago.
And this is the West End celebration.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, so it's basically we're creating a soundscape of original productions and remixes, and kind of I'll be also singing in the show as well, and trying to create you know, a soundscape that reflects. It's really truly a community event, and so there's an application process that has it's kind of a curated application process, and it's forming itself right in front of our eyes, right? So we're looking to see who is coming in, and then that's when the soundscape will kind of form itself. Does that make sense?
And what do you for our viewer, when you say soundscape, what does that mean? It's like an audio movie in a
yeah,
way.
think about it kind of like a score, like a movie score.
Yes.
That includes kind of things that you may be familiar with, elements that you're familiar with, and then elements that are completely original, and then both kind of on top of each other. So it's kind of you know, we live in kind of a remix society, you know. So it's taking a cue from that, but also being completely unique to this event. It's going to be really cool. So it's not going to be, you know, a song mixed with a song, mixed with a song, mixed with a song. It'll be original compositions with live singers, and mixed with a remix, mixed going into with elements of, you know, I don't want to give too much away just yet.
Yeah, but now are you doing original music as well?
Yeah.
Okay, and so that's I'm running out of your skill set here. So we add musician to that. And so working in the studio, how does that work?
So I'll be working with other musicians as well, and creating original compositions, just kind of ethereal and bass heavy and hopefully very interesting compositions, you know. Using different technologies, traditional analog keyboards, mixed with drum machines, mixed with sampling, singing multi-track harmonies, and kind of overlaying a lot of things together.
So you think if you weren't doing the DJ work that you would have had all these the musical skill set, all the tools that you have now?
I would hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd hope so. I enjoyed a lot. The music, I enjoyed making music.
So music came early. Music came before DJing then?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was all, I mean, music's always been there.
Wow.
Yeah.
And this is great. Now let's go back to your artwork, because and what's the difference between you do design work and then you do fine art, and how do you kind of mix that together?
Well, the tools that I use for design, and again, it's kind of like practicing a martial art, like practicing kung fu or something. If you do something 10,000 times, you kind of learn, it becomes a muscle memory. So I take kind of the design work that I do for clients as my, you know, my doing this, and I incorporate my own kind of vision into it. So it, you know, not every flyer and poster is unique in its own way. So then I'll take those tools that I learned doing that and incorporate them into just me, like going into outer space sometimes, you know, and
then you into because it's such a nice having both worlds. And then you know, personal art, you know, have your own personal vocabulary. When you get to the to a design piece, then you can bring in the personal. You interact.
Yeah.
You know, in other words, your brand and their brand create the third brand.
Yeah.
And your brand, the fine art piece makes your brand, you know, more valuable, so in a design piece they want your brand as well as their brand, because it elevates them.
Yeah, exactly. And it's, if you could create something that you truly put you know, yourself into, then I think that it's regardless of what anyone says, it's important, and it makes its own importance in the world, you know.
And what's coming up for you, art wise and DJ wise?
I was gonna say, what's coming up? I got a couple kids that have to go to swim class today.
Yeah.
But no, what's coming up? I play with a live band called The Basement. We're in between names now, but it's kind of an all-star cast of musicians from around town, and we have a residency at Bar Mill that we're starting up. We're also playing at West End Celebration, and we're also playing at Fernwood and Big Sur in September. And then so basically we're going to be, another thing is just getting ready for the show, the West End fashion show. There's another show in San Francisco that's kind of along the same lines. Another fashion show that I'm creating the score for that. This weekend we have the Lightning in a Bottle Festival that's going to be down Lake San Antonio. And I'll be working at art installation called the White Library. It's kind of a community art building. They build this building out in the middle of nowhere, and you can just go in there and kind of release anything that you may have, and it's a pretty cool spot. It's a very cool spot. Yeah.
So you get it going. So and there's some good music here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So were you surprised? So when you came down here, were you surprised by all this?
I was very surprised. We came from when I was in Oregon, we were promoting hip hop and jazz music, bringing artists to Portland and Eugene. So I was just kind of up to my neck in it, you know. And so I came here, and I was thinking, oh man, you know, it's a whole new thing. I don't know anybody, and I don't know if anything's even going on. And I've happened to, you know, been blessed with meeting some of like the finest, you know, people in music that I've ever met. And
wow.
It's pretty nice.
Wow.
Last night we went to a show at Folktale Sir, live in the Vines, I think it's called, and it was amazing. It was great. They're, you know, world-class artists coming in and just.
Well, we live in a great place.
Yeah, we do.
So, anyway, I'm Mark Baer, Hanif Panni.
Yes.
DJ Wondir, HanifPanni.com, DJHanifPanni.com.
That's HanifWonder.com.
Ah, HanifWonder. Let's
Yes.
get it right.
Yeah.
HanifWonder.com. Look it up. It's a fabulous website. Great art, great music. Pleasure, man.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.